Purity of relationships. These are relationships with well-defined boundaries. When relationships lose their boundaries, it has provoked defilement.
You are watching Eagle Wings TV. Please subscribe to this channel so you will be notified when we post inspiring videos like this. Now back to your video.
1 Timothy 5 verse 2, it says, treat the younger women as sisters. So any conversation, anything you can't do with your blood sister, don't do with a sister in church. Treat the elder women as mothers, the younger women as sisters, with all purity. Hello, my sister, and you hug her, you hug her, you hug her. When you find such a person, hold his ear and pull him out of the air. Let him go with his seduction. Shake her. She's not your wife. If you must hug her on the side. Don't grab anybody here and want to break and puncture the person in the name that you are doing brotherly love. The whole body is laden with seduction. You think Satan don't know you? Jokers. Hebrews 12:14 said, follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no eye shall see God. Every relationship has a boundary. There's no chat I can chat with anybody that my wife can't see. All of you who chat me here, my wife sees it. If she looks at you like this, it means be careful. If not that my husband was calling you sister, sister, I know where you wanted to go. If you will hide your phone from your wife, something is wrong. You know that you have violated boundaries. There's no conversation you can have with a sister that your wife can't come in. You claim you want to help her, but your wife can't know. What help is that? There's an ulterior motive. If that help is pure, you won't be afraid of telling your wife. Don't worry, I don't like the way you are trekking. I will buy you a car. How many people have you bought car for before? And this car you want to buy, how come it's a secret conversation? Let's see. Where? Not in the office. Why are you seeing everybody in the office, but this one has to be in a park? We are not sincere people, sir. That's why Satan explores and destroys us. Purity in relationships. Number 6, purity in worship. Jesus said in John 4:24, he said, they that worship the Father must worship him in spirit and in truth. Isaiah 1:11-14, the whole emphasis is to reject fake and impure worship. And worship that is not sincere. Everybody is praying. You sat on your chair like this. The moment they gave you mic, Augusta, when you want to add drama, go to the back. We are doing serious business here. They are worshiping God. You are pressing your phone. Till they say take lead worship, you start crying. No wonder they call them artists now. Artists, that's what we have now. Artists. They come as if they love God. The moment they finish singing, they follow the back door and go. Artists. We need worshipers. People who fear God. People who reverence God. People who honor God. People who love God. That's what God is checking, not the song you are singing. The song is supposed to ventilate the heart of honor, the heart of reverence, the heart of adoration. If there's no honor, if there's no reverence, if there's no adoration, that's an echo. And then finally, purity in general conduct. In 1 Peter 1:15 and 16, the Bible told us, but as he which has called you is holy, it says, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation. This is where your conscience comes in as a checker. Your conscience as a checker. Do you know there are some men of God today, if they marry, they have to change their SIM cards? Because if they don't, there will be problem at home. There are more than 8 sisters that they are having the same conversation with. These are not holy brethren. I'm not talking to you as one who has not fallen before. I have fallen. But I didn't lie to myself. So I cry to God anytime I fall to help me rise. This is not self-righteousness. This is showing you the standard of God. And as you imbibe it, grace will be supplied to help you. These are the dimensions of purity. Be pure in all manner of conversation. If you do this, you will see the power of purity. And very quickly, because of our time, let me itemize few powers that through biblical purity confers on men. As a traveler, I had to sit down to begin to learn all these things. Because when I started traveling at first, the only dimension of power I knew is the power that comes from the stirring of the Holy Spirit. Before I go to preach, I pray in tongues for hours. When I'm preaching, everywhere has to be on fire for power to move. I now realize it's not every day I'm preaching. As I started growing, some people call me 2 a.m. in the morning. Somebody is dying. Where is the time to go and be stirred? You are walking in the market. As I was coming into the country today, a guy ran to me in business class, knelt down. I said, please pray for me. I was so ashamed. I said, stand up for where? The more I drag it, the more he knelt. In order not to waste time, I said, Father, bless him. I said, it's well with you, sir. Prayer short so that I can go away. How do you go and start stirring yourself there? That means there are many tributaries to power. It can't just be you are stirred. If you are not stirred, there's no power. No, sir. Most of the testimonies we record come from casual moments. Somebody runs into you in the market, you'll say it is well, and things change. I sat with my wife in the house when the brother with the sister came and complained they rejected him from a football club. Go! Divine intervention. 48 hours later, the same coach called him. Augusta, I didn't come from prayer. You need different dimensions of power to be relevant. Otherwise, you will end up a religious man who will only manifest power in a church service. But for you to walk in power all the time, you need to know the different dimensions or indicators of power in scripture. And purity is one of it. There are certain powers you will never have until you live a pure life. Don't let anybody deceive you. He said, who shall stand upon the mountains of God? Who shall stand upon his holy hills? He says, him that is of a pure hand, of a pure heart, who has not lifted his soul in vanity. You'll find men wielding powers in the courts of God. Purity is defining it. And there are different things that provoke power. But quickly, let's look at the powers of purity. Number one, purity grants access and sustenance of God's presence. Find people who always carry tangible dimension of God's presence. Amongst other things, purity is there. Purity is not the only thing. Humility sponsors it. Obedience sponsors it. He said, if you obey me, I and my Father will come and make our house with you. He said, him that is humble, he said, God will shower grace. Who should I look upon? He said, a man that is of a contrite heart and of a broken spirit. Humility, obedience, but purity also provokes presence. If you want to carry God's presence, be pure, sir. Live a holy life. I, oh Lord, am of a purer eyes. My eyes cannot behold iniquity. You can't move around with iniquity and expect God's presence to validate you. That's why today men of God are looking for all kinds of things to validate them. In the days of the fathers, you didn't need to snap a picture with somebody to have validation. When they walk into a city, they came with a cloud. God himself is the one who announces them. How do you think this man took the word without internet, without telephone? How did they take the word? There was something they carried. When Moses came to the courts of Pharaoh, there was no credential. God was his credential. The God of the Hebrew have sent me. Let my people go that they may serve me. Who is he? Don't worry, he will come here. I didn't come with theology, but I came with presence. I may not have theology, but I have presence. I have presence. And the guy dropped his rod, and his rod became a serpent. The Egyptian wise men did it. Moses' rod swallowed their own. And as you study that story, you see that the presence kept growing. After the 10th plague, the presence became Shekinah. That which was invincible became visible. And when they went out, the Bible said God went before them as a pillar of cloud by day and as a pillar of fire by night. The presence had built up upon the man until it became a cloud. We are shouting, singing. God's presence is not there because our garments are not pure. Something is wrong with our being. Blessed are the pure in heart. I quoted already Matthew 5:8. They are the ones who see God. Who stands? Who is he that stands in the mountains of God? Psalm 24 verse 3 to 5. Who stands upon his holy hills is the man that is of a pure heart. His hands are clean. He has not lifted his soul in vanity. You find people who carry God's presence in a sustained manner. Check. There's something they are doing with grace to keep their garments pure. We lack God's presence. And when you lack God's presence, you will suffer. You will suffer. Your Christianity will be bedeviled with a lot of crises that you can't resolve. Power of purity. Number 2, it attracts favor. Daniel chapter 1 verse 8 to 9. It's not everything you achieve by men laying hands on you. There are certain things that principles provoke. But Daniel proposed in his heart that he will not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor the wine which they drank. Therefore, he requested of the eunuch that he might not defile himself. See the implication, next verse. Now God brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the eunuch. You refuse defilement. It will look like a disadvantage for a while, but over time, what favor will provoke will be more than what you would have achieved for yourself using human intelligence. Genesis 39 verse 2 to 9. Look at Joseph. The Bible said in Romans 15 verse 4, the things that were written aforetime, they were written for our learning, so that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Look at the things written aforetime. And the Lord was with Joseph. You will see why God was with Joseph. It was purity. And he was a prosperous man. And he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. Even slaves can prosper if God is with them. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord has made all that he did to prosper in his hands. Because of God's presence, he was promoted. And Joseph found grace, which is also favor, in his sight. And he served him, and he made him overseer over his house. In all that is his house, he put in his hand. But why did he have this kind of favor? You will see that in verse 9. And it came to pass, from that time he was made overseer in his house and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake, and the blessings of the Lord was upon all that he had in his house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. So the master didn't even know his wealth. All he knew was food was there to eat. Joseph was in charge of everything. And he said Joseph was well favored. He was favored to the degree that he was promoted to be an overseer. But what was at the foundation? We will now see why he was so favored. Verse 8 and 9. And it came to pass after these things, that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph and said, lie with me. This is where we discovered the secret of Joseph's favor and power. He said, but he refused. I wish God will raise a generation of people that can refuse, and you will see favor like never before. You will see divine presence. The problem we have is that we can't refuse. And in our generation, they don't even entice us. We are the one who draw them to us in the name of seeking favor. Favor that does not come from God. He refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wotted not what is with me in the house, and he had committed all that he had to my hands. He doesn't even know what he has. All that he has is in my care. I'm the one who tells him his worth. He said, therefore is none greater in this house than I, neither had he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? He was a pure man. The woman accused him in an undeniable fashion because he cut his shirt. It looked as if purity was a disadvantage, and the guy spent 2 years in prison. But what we saw eventually was that those 2 years took him where his lifetime outside purity would never have taken him. The Bible said until the time that his word came. He said the word of the Lord tried him. The king sent for to lose him, even the ruler of the people. He made him lord of his house. He had gone beyond Potiphar. Where God took him to, even Potiphar couldn't approach. You are not losing by being pure. You stand your ground for God and see the testimonies your life will command. Purity attracts favor, and not just favor, favor that brings promotion. Daniel was promoted. Joseph was promoted. you will be promoted.